Hey, I'm going to show you how to use Microsoft macros to make your templates more efficient. So let's say you have a Word document with some sort of template where you need a name and an age. The only problem being if this has to be done for say 100 names and ages, it can be pretty time consuming to go in and update your template 100 times. So macros will make this a lot more efficient and save you a lot of time. So how do we make macros? Okay, the first step is you need to go to File, go to Options, go to Customize Ribbon, and on the right hand side, tick the Developer tab and click OK. This will give you access to the Developer tab up top. In here, you click Visual Basic, and now we have the developer view open. To create a new subroutine, right click on this document, insert module. From here, I'm just going to copy and paste some code. Don't feel intimidated. I will walk through and explain each part of the code. So what I have here is just one subroutine and a couple of functions that will automate this entire process and make it pain-free, hopefully. So first off, I'll start by explaining the functions down here. So we have find and replace. What this does is pretty self-explanatory. It finds keywords like this, name and age, and just replaces them with something else. And then we have create document. This is just a copy and paste. It creates a new document and copies everything from this document into that new document and saves it. So fill template is where the magic actually happens. So here I've got three lists. I've got a list of names, a list of ages, and a list of keywords to replace. So here is where you set up the names you want to use. So I've just got 4 names. Here is a list of ages I want to use. I've got 4 ages, and please note that the ages correspond to the names. So I've got if I've got an age, if I've got a name here, that means I've got the corresponding age here, and so on and so forth. And then I've got the list of keywords to replace. So these keywords you will find in the document. They will match up to whatever the document is. I can change this to whatever as long as it's found in my template. The size is just the number of names or ages that I have in my list. So it's going to loop through, said I had 100 names, and the size would be 100, and it would loop through 100 times. But in this case, I've only got 4. So here, once we're in the loop, this is just the start of the loop. It will first call find and replace with find 0. Find 0 corresponds to this list, and here, because computer science, our lists start at 0, so it will take the first keyword and replace it with whatever name is in that list. It could be Jeff, Joe, Fred, Billy, and replace it in this document. And then here we do find and replace again, which will take the second item, which is number 1 in our list, age, and replace it with whatever's in our ages list at the time, 50, 20, 43, 32. And then we will call create document, and it will save everything into a new document with the name I've just put here, info, and I've appended whatever name that we have in the list, so it can be a nice unique name. And then what it will do is here we're replacing this keyword with whatever name we just replaced, because once this gets replaced in the document to say Jeff, the next time find and replace comes to look for an item, it needs to look for Jeff instead of name. So this is what that does. It just replaces the name keyword and the age keyword. So I will take you through of, let's say you wanted to add a new field to this. What would you need to do? So let's say in my template, I had something like enter your date of birth. I could have DOB. It doesn't really matter what I put here. But what I would need to do is add a new list using the same format that I have here. I'll call this list DOB, and I'll need to set that list up. So I can I'll just copy what I have here, call this DOB, and here's where I'd put my values. So say 1940. And please note that each field needs to be between quotation marks, or else it won't register as a string. So I wasn't born in 1940, but just for the sake of time, I'll put these values in. And then I'd also need to update this keyword array to have this here, so I can just copy, so that when this function goes to look for it, it will know what to replace. I don't need to update this because I haven't really changed the size, and even if the size changes, it will automatically pick it up. The last couple of things I need to update is I need to add another find and replace. So you will need a find and replace for each keyword that you have. So I just copy and paste this. Find the next item, which will now be 2, corresponds to the third item in the list. And instead of ages, we want the date of birth. We'll keep the name of the document the same, and here we will update find 2, which is, we're changing this keyword into the previous DOB. So this is just an example of how it's done. And when you're ready to run your function, all you need to do is click run at the top. Make sure you're clicked inside the function you want to run. Click run, and as you can see, it automatically did it, and you should be left with, let me close this. This is your template function. As you can see, the last item it replaced was Billy with the age of 32, born in 1949. But this is your template function. So when you close this, don't save it. You don't need to save it. You just close, don't save, and your template will be preserved. But now we can see that we have Jeff, Joe, Fred, and Billy. And we could have done this for 1,000 users if we really wanted to. For the next part, the question is, what if I had a list of 100 names and they're all in Excel? How would I get the list from Excel into your macro? Because I don't want to type out 100 names and 100 ages and maybe 100 date of births. What's an easy way to get this information in that format that you need it? So I'll show you a couple of tricks in Excel that I use to get the data in the format that I want to use. So first, let's take a look again at the format we want the data. We want a name with two preceding quotation marks on either end, followed by a comma. So let's say we had this list of names and ages in Excel. How would I convert that into that format? So step one is adding the quotation marks and the comma. You can just use the concatenation syntax. So an equals followed by char 34, which corresponds to quotation marks, because in Excel quotation marks are special character. The ampersand symbol just means add on another string, and in this case we'll just click the name that you want and followed by another ampersand and another char 34 followed by a third ampersand and a comma within quotation marks, like so. So to go over again, we have char 34 followed by an ampersand, the cell we're looking to get, followed by another char 34 ampersand and an ending comma. Press enter, and as you can see, it's a name followed by a comma, and you can just drag this formula down and you will see it will pop up on all of them. And for ages, you can simply pull it across and you have the same effect. So now how to all get them into one list is the second part. So for that part is similar, but we're going to use equals followed by the concat formula. Then all we need to do is drag down on the names, close it off, click enter. Now you see that we have our list here. What we can do is just copy this, pop back up into our macro here and say there was nothing there. We would just paste that. Make sure it's all on one line though, and you can get rid of the last comma and you would have your list. And I can show you it's similar with ages. You would just drag the formula across, you have all the ages there. You would copy it, come past here, this is empty, fill it with your ages, make sure you're like that, and you are good to go. You could do it as well with keywords if you had a list of keywords in Excel, but usually the keywords are based on what's in your document, so you just type those out manually. And yeah, that's how you convert your data in Excel into something useful. Thanks for watching. Any of the code that you see here will be available in the description below. I'll leave a link to my website. You can just copy and paste it. Cheers.